Well, good afternoon, our dear loved ones. This is Spiritual Vacancy podcast here to fill your spiritual void. I'm Mona Lee, an energy healer, owner of Beautiful Mind, and so excited about this interview. We've been waiting for this for a long time now, and I am with my dear.
I'm Brooke Ann. I'm a psychic medium and a Reiki practitioner. And we are talking to our friend Pip Pippo today. And she is a cardologist.
I am.
Yes,
Is so
yes, she is.
Hello.
she's
So,
our really good friend too.
She is. She's a good friend of ours, and we're so excited to have her because we both have had personal readings with Pip, and I basically every single 52 days go to Pip going, okay, what's coming up? Well, she actually is really good at keeping up with that for me, and she was like, okay, it's coming up on your 52nd day. Basically, those planets are shifting and changing, and it's amazing to have a roadmap for our lives. That's
And
how I look at it.
that's a perfect analogy. It's a roadmap of energy.
Yeah.
Yeah, because people listening that don't know, like me, when I had never heard of it, and Mona's like, oh, my friend Pip said this is going to happen and this is going to happen. I'm like, how? What? What does she do? What, like astrology? And she's like, no, it's like playing cards. I'm like, oh, okay, now I'm super intrigued. I need her number. Like, what does that mean?
It is exciting. And I'm going to ask Pip this question about the cardology to get her started here. But it's so cool because my grandfather was an astrology person. He would do astrological charts. And then I had another friend that would do numerology and look at the numbers numerologically of where we stand during that time in that year of our lives. And then the cardology, holy manoli, I was so excited when she got into cardology because it was a mix of astrology and numerology. And that's why I call it a roadmap, because when we're born, every one of us have a certain birthday that we cannot change. And then those planets are in alignment in a certain way when we are born. And I had no idea until Pip was sharing that it shifts every 52 days, which I was talking about those little updates of what happens every so often. So Pip, that question that I'd love to have you
I have a
answer.
question first, and I should
Uh-oh.
have asked this before, but do I look at the
Okay.
light in the middle of the camera or at you two on the screen? Like where am I looking?
We are the
Anywhere.
light.
Doesn't
We are the
matter.
light. Look
Yeah.
into the light, Pip. Look
But
into
don't leave. Don't leave. Don't go that far into the light, Pip. Dang, like we want to interview you first. Mona, quit.
Okay, stay in the light. Not okay,
So
gotcha.
in the light of this cardology, Pip, would you explain to us like all of the numbers of cardology as far as the days of the week, the numbers that just fascinate me about cardology.
Sure. Okay, there are 52 cards in the deck, correct? How many weeks are in a year? 52. If you take the 5 and the 2 and you add them together, you get 7, and that's how many days there are in a week, and it's how many visible planets there are. There are 4 seasons. There are 4 suits. There are 13 cards in each suit. There are 13 weeks in each season. If you add up all the court cards, the jacks, the queens, and the kings is 11, 12, and 13. It comes to 52. If you add up all the cards in the deck, aces are 1, 11's jack, queen, 12, king, 13, plus the one joker, which is like 1.25, it's 365, which is how many days there are in the year. Each suit represents a season. Hearts, if you take out a deck of cards, you look at, they're always in the suits, ace through king, and it's hearts, clubs, diamonds, spades. Hearts represent spring and also the first 13 years of your life, because that's when you're in spring, things are born. You were born. And then the next 13 years is Venus. I'm sorry, which is Mercury. The first 13 years is also Mercury. We're getting past the numbers. Hold on. So clubs represent summer, diamonds fall, and spades winter. And that goes with the portions of life as well. Um, I just drew a blank on all the numbers. I think I finished the number part of it as far as how time cards represent time in this linear thing that we
Yes,
call the dimension. Yes. So
nice.
that's the numbers part. They're very oh wait, the Joker, there's one birthday. See, when you're born, the day you're born, there's by some scientific mathematical thing that came out hundreds and hundreds of years ago when the system came out. The so the mathematical system placed cards in on every calendar day. Like I'm a queen of diamonds. That's my birth card, which is like the equivalent of your sun sign. Mona is an ace of diamonds, and Brooke is a king of diamonds.
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so everybody born on my birthday is an ace of diamonds. Everybody born on, but that's not the only, I'm sorry, queen of diamonds. That's not the only queen of diamonds. The Joker is the only card in the deck that can't be read. And anybody born on December 31st, you cannot be read because you can take on the characteristics of every card, and ironically, none of them. So, and it's funny, do you know anybody born December 31st? I know I don't.
Yes. Good
Oh,
people.
really? What are they
Yeah.
like? What are their personalities like? Just out of curiosity.
Crazy.
Yep.
Absolutely crazy. Like, have no fear in life. Not scared, wild, adventurous, addiction in their life with drugs and alcohol for both of them.
And there's probably some that are the complete opposite
Probably. Yeah.
because for some reason, but that's the only day of the year that the Joker was assigned.
That's so cool.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting. What I've enjoyed about the readings is different times I'll do different business matters with different people. And it's interesting to find out the energy that is connected between the two people and then what how would we say it? What commonalities or what struggles?
Right.
And even if they have karma together or not karma together. And I love how you can take a whole entire family, like if I give you my birthday and then I give you everybody that's significant in my life, their birthday, and then the charts shows the energies that come through of how we're supported or not supported by those people or who we owe karma to and who owes us karma. And it's fascinating to see that in a family dynamic or a friendship dynamic between people. I always thought that was a fascinating part of the readings.
And yours is very fascinating because you're the only person that I have done that your daughter, one of your daughters,
Mhm.
birth card is your first karma card, and their planetary card is your second karma card.
Hmm.
So she's here as the karma you owe and the karma that you receive.
Hmm.
Very, very. Now, I've seen people where their kid is, one or the other, but not both of their cards are their the person's karma cards.
Interesting. Is that why we test each other in patience with each other?
That's why in one day you can be oil and water and flies like are that's not a good analogy, white on rice. You can be
Okay.
like this, and then 5 seconds later, you're like that.
Were you,
Interesting.
were you about to say flies on shit?
Yes.
I always think of flies on honey. Thank you.
Either way, they're both attracted.
You know what else I love too is a lot of people don't do their astrology chart because they don't know their time of birth. And with this, you don't need it.
No.
Right.
The only time I have to, like, if you're a cusp person, the time of birth may be necessary if um only because for the planetary, not for the birth. Like there are two spreads that I read, your birth card and your planetary card, because your birth card's like your sun sign, and your planetary card is kind of like your rising sign. Okay. So people like me, Leos, only have one card, so it's doubled. So like all Queen of Diamonds aren't the same. I'm a Queen of Diamond. Now they may have some same characteristics, but somebody else that's a Queen of Diamond will have a planetary card if they're not a Leo, because the sun rules Leo, and the Queen of Diamonds sun sign is Leo. So the card is doubled. Whereas like Mona's is an Ace of Diamonds, Seven of Clubs is your planetary card. So you have two separate spreads. And yours is the King of Diamonds, King of Hearts, two separate spreads. But somebody who's a King of Diamonds that's a Leo is they're just double King of Diamonds.
Ah, okay. That's interesting.
So
Right.
can you give
And
us,
then there's some people who have two planetary cards, like your daughter, one of your daughters, because two planets rule the sign. Usually it's Mars and Pluto. We still
so
consider Pluto.
it's very, very closely related to astrology. Like when you're doing my reading for me every 52 days, I compare it to astrology many times, and it all kind of pulls together and works really well together.
Mhm. Yeah, it's
Wow.
fascinating. It really is. So we want
Yeah.
to kind of know, how did you get started? What was your spiritual journey like, Pip? And then into cardology. Like, how did you get to where you are today?
Well, when I was very young, I had like some spirit. I would know some things before they happen, but when you're that young, it doesn't go over well. Meaning people look at you like you're crazy. So I kind of push that aside. And then I also had a lot of angry periods in my life. And at one point, and I'd say it was the early 90s, I got sick and tired of being angry. And the very first spiritual book I ever picked up, and this is funny because it's not supposed to be non-fictional, but was the Celestine Prophecies. And after reading that, I just had this draw to Peru. And at the time, I had a means. Well, I shouldn't say it that way because it was my girlfriend, but a girlfriend. I went to Peru and stayed with her family, and I had amazing experiences there. So then I get worked on myself and da 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 da, and I hate when people do da 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 da, and I just did it. Um, I got interested in astrology, and I was interested in very gung ho, but I bore easy, and there was something that just wasn't driving me. And then I got interested in numerology, same thing. It caught my attention, but nothing there to drive me. And then I even looked at palmistry, same thing. Mona, I was attended one of her friends did a presentation of cardology for Beautiful Mind, and it clicked immediately. I don't know, it just clicked. Something said, this is it. This is what I'm supposed to do. This is what I'm going to do. And with the help of Mona and you, I am where I am now. And it's helped me considerably. You guys have helped me considerably. And I'm so very grateful to both of you. And just so everyone knows, Mona is my moon card. And your moon card is always a helpful, supportive influence. And if you know someone that's your moon card, they should be too. And if they're not, it's because they want you to be their moon card. And it's one of those times you can't change the energy. So like she's my lifetime moon card. And when we first met, we got along so well. And then there was a period of time where we didn't. And it was because she just wasn't my moon. And now she is again.
All right.
And like I said, we get along. She's definitely, both of you are definitely part of my soul family. But yeah, so being when you have somebody in your chart and it's card that's like in an all position, like all life or all year or all 7 weeks, because I go through all 7 years, they're very prominent. Whereas when they show up in like 52-day period of your year, or your 13-year period of your life, or a year period in your they come in differently because the energy is different as far as length goes. So like if you dump a gallon of water in a glass, it's going to come and overflow, right? But if you dump a gallon of water in a barrel, it's the same gallon, but it disperses differently. So it's the same thing with energy.
Mhm.
So if something's there for a lifetime, it's there dispersed. Whereas if it's there for a week or a year, it's there more condensed.
That makes sense.
Very nice, very nice.
Yeah.
Would you suggest people getting, like, in relationships, would you suggest that people get readings of them and the person in their relationship with them? And what does that do for them? What would that do if you do a relationship reading?
Well, when I do a comparison one, every card has to any other card has what's called compatibility, and it's called a compatibility reading, and you can do it for business, just friends, or romantic. And what it does is you have connections, and your first connection is always the strongest. So if you have a moon connection, let's say, that means that's a very strong, helpful, supportive influence there. But if you have a Saturn connection, that's very strong and powerful too as a first one. But then that person, if you're a Saturn to someone, you're there as their teacher. And a lot of times there's a lot of collision because most of us aren't programmed to learn lessons very well. Let's put it that way, you know. Or if you're a Venus, like my brother and my sister-in-law are Venus to each other in this life and the last life, or that's their first connection, Venus to each other. So they're meant to be together, and they've been together in the past life. Doesn't mean they've been together as a husband and wife, but it could have been mother and daughter, or any strong love connection. So your first connection is always your most important, or the strongest, let's put it that way. And then you can have up to 12 connections, but that 12th connection, let's just say, may explain one incident, in your relationship. So that as the connections go down in number, or go up in number, 1, 2, 3, 4, the strength of that connection decreases. Okay. So it can tell you what the energies are and why. Like I read someone that just can't get along with this other person, and it's because they're their first karma and have been first karma to each other. So it's like their birth card is their first karma card, and that person's planetary card is the first karma card to that person. So they're first karma cards to each other, and it's just like you probably beat the hell out of each other in another lifetime, and you're coming here. You know what I mean? It's a difficult connection. Does it mean that they can't get through it? Of course not. That all depends on. Every card has a high side and a positive side and a negative side. Let's say a high energy, low energy. So if you operate more as a positive person, you're going to manifest more of the positive energy of the card. If you operate more in a negative energy, you're going to manifest the lower energy of the card. And that doesn't mean every single time. It means, do you handle change well? If you don't, then you're going to get a 5 low side. You handle change well, the high side of the 5 is going to come out good. So
yeah, that's awesome. It's a lot. It's a lot that you have.
it's a lot. It's overwhelming, especially if you remember your initial ones, because both of you have been with me for a while. Your initial ones were a lot.
A
Yeah,
lot of,
yeah.
it is, it's a lot of information, that's for sure. It's almost overwhelming, and I learn something new every single time. And even knowing that every 52 days is a different planet, a different energy. And I always say to you, when's my Jupiter period? Because I know the Jupiter period of time is when it's time for your soul to go ahead and expand and do and work and take those action steps. And that's what
And
I
it's
love.
funny because Jupiter is the only planet that gives you more energy than takes. So it expands, like you said, makes good great, makes not so good good.
Mhm.
And on the the side, the planet before it is Mars, which is all that aggressive, tough, male energy. And then right after it is Saturn, which is very constrictive. It's the Saturn rules karma and is very restrictive. It's complete opposite of Jupiter. So Jupiter comes at a really good time between those two, because imagine if they were together,
Yes.
you go from aggression to restriction.
Yeah.
Not good.
No.
Human combustion at its finest.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah.
But I find it amazing how validating the cards can be. Like, I, when I started learning this system, I looked at my own cards, and your first 13, first 52 days of your year, you're in Mercury, no matter who you are. And um, so Mercury rules that time. And in that time, I did not know anybody that were those cards. And then for my long range card, which lasts the entire year, and it just says, where's my focus where's your focus going to go, where's your energy going to go? It's long range usually isn't negative or positive, it's just where's your focus going. I didn't know anybody that card either. Well, within the 52 days of my reading, I mean my birthday, I met my bio mother, who was my long range goal. Do you think I thought about her for the next year or put some energy into her?
Mm.
Yeah. My bio sister and my bio brother in my Mercury. So Mercury rules communication. Yeah, I communicated with people that I never knew. I met people I never knew. So, and then my other two brothers were underlying cards of the cards in Mercury. So, like, all my siblings were in Mercury, of people that I'd meet and talk to. And then my bio mother was my long range. A lot of focus did go into her. A lot of thought went into her. Yes.
Hmm.
So it's weird when, isn't it weird when the cards tell you what's in it,
It's
you can
amazing.
relate.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like when you read my cards for the, and she does it over and over. So the birth card and the planetary card are yours forever. So those never change. And so my birth card was like a king of diamonds, and then my planetary card's like a king of hearts. And the first thing Pip goes, she's like, you must own businesses. She's like, this is such male leadership energy with you. And I'm like, oh my God, I do. And so, and then like my husband and my son have different birthdays, but one of their cards are the same. So it's interesting how they're interconnected like that, and they're in my like whole life, which is interesting. And then my friend Jen, who loves Pip too, the first time she had her, initial reading with you and the life one, she goes, "Oh my God, Brooke." She calls me. She goes, "I'm a three of some." She's a three of something. I forget what it is, but she's like, "You do great in groups, and you're very artistic." And she's like, "I'm an art teacher." And I'm like, oh my God, could you be any more on point? So it's fascinating, the information that just by the cards and then you interpreting it for us is like, it's that insight of who we really are and then what's to come. And like each 52 weeks, like what we have to look forward to, even though Pip kept saying for a while, like, you're not wanting to get pregnant, are you? I'm like, shush your mouth, Pip.
Well, there's certain cards that are very, I remember that. And you
Yeah.
had all the childbearing cards.
I know. And I'm like, that's for somebody else with my birthday. That's not for me.
Well, maybe birthing new ideas,
Oh
right?
yeah,
Or
that's
birthing
Right? Or
new
did you get any
possibilities.
pets?
No, I didn't, but I think of it as birthing new ideas or like a rebirth or, changing
Right.
something positive
Yep.
for me. But it was just funny. I was just kidding. But I mean, when it does come up, you're like, no, no, not claiming that one, Pip. No. But it is fascinating and it's interesting and it's like something that you look forward to. Well, I know I look forward to it every time we have our readings over the phone. So I love it.
And I love doing them. Absolutely love them.
They are fun.
Mhm.
They are fun. So there is another question that we have for you, Pip,
Okay.
on your journey that you had taken, because it was amazing to see you go into that journey. And when you're doing something you love so much, it's like nothing gets in your way, and you spend hours and hours and hours and hours and
The
hours
Queen
and
of
hours.
Diamond.
Yes.
It is very driven Queen of Diamond people are very driven once they decide what they want to do.
Yes, and it was fascinating to see that. So the question for you is, what did you see? How did it affect your family and your friends around you when you told them that you were going into doing cardology readings?
I
What?
didn't tell anybody I was going into it,
Mhm.
except the people that were with me around me at the time, which those people. As far as my family and friends, I didn't tell them till after I did started it. And honestly, I got really no negative feedback, which surprised me. I think also because of nothing anybody would have said negatively would have changed my mind anyway. And people who know me well enough to know that if you disagree with something that I'm doing, keep it to yourself because it's not going to affect me. So, but I really had got no negative feedback. I did have one of my closest friends say that it was too scientific for them. But they didn't, I got none of the, oh, you're into that woo woo stuff. I didn't get that because they all knew, most people know me, know that I experiment with things.
Yeah.
So,
That's
and things that are not of the norm.
That's interesting how your friend said it's too scientific because most people want things to be scientific. And sometimes with this, there isn't that scientific because it might not be
Right.
proof or this or that. So that's interesting. She said that because it's
E,
pretty spot on. Or he said that because it's pretty spot
yes.
on,
Yeah.
what you're doing in the cardology. It's like, it's too scientific. Okay. That's different. That's a new one.
Like I said, one person that was new to
Yeah.
me too. But if it doesn't resonate with you, then I don't want you to do something that doesn't resonate with you. So I'm glad he let me know and he told me. And
Definitely. Yep. I don't blame
yeah,
you. Mm-hmm. Now, do we have another question, Lana?
Go ahead, Brooke.
Okay, what would be one piece of advice, Pip, that you would give that somebody is like looking forward to their spiritual journey or trying to figure it out, or what would be the one thing you could tell yourself if you went back? What would be one piece of advice?
honestly, it has nothing to do with the cards, but
That's okay.
love is the predominant energy we're supposed to be living from, the only energy we're supposed to be living from, and all the hate and anger and um frustration, everything that goes in that lower bracket doesn't help you one bit, not one. If that's what I could tell myself, that's what I would tell myself. That it wasn't. I mean, am I glad where I am right now? Yes. Could I have gotten here without all that? Who knows? But if I could have lessened the anger to get to here by knowing it's not where, it doesn't do anything for you except find out why stop get sick of being angry. That's what I would tell myself. The one thing it would be to keep that heart open, keep that heart chakra open. That for some reason I found that to be a tongue twister. Keep the heart chakra open.
I agree. I love that. I love that advice because I think a lot of people are angry before they figure out their spiritual path or how can they help others or what's endearing to them or what means something to them. So I love that piece of advice. I really
What
do.
I find that really helps me when I get irritated because, hell, I get irritated.
Right.
If I can consciously think, would I rather be happy or right? Yeah, I'd like to be both, but if I had to pick between the two, happy.
Me too. It's not worth it.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's
Doesn't
right.
matter. Great advice for anybody listening today. Okay,
Yeah.
Mona, what's the last question?
So the last question is, what are you most excited about with what you offer and when you're doing these cardology readings for people?
I absolutely love when, well, first of all, selfishly, I love, how do I put this? Seeing how the cards fall for people that I know, even though I'm in Florida, you guys are in Myrtle Beach. I don't do this face to face with anybody. It's over the phone. And so I get mental pictures. And that's a very selfish thing on my part because I'm a very visual person. But to see how it's like, I don't know, clay, but I also love when people let me know that they either avoided something that they wouldn't have avoided, if the energy that was there, if they didn't know about the energy. For instance, I had somebody text me that I told them to be cognizant when they were driving because the energy of a fender bender was there. Unfortunately, they didn't listen, and she let me know 2 weeks. Man, I really wish I had listened because I backed out of my driveway without looking, and bam, fender bender. Little things like that are validating to me, and they're validating to them, to you as well, when things happen that the energy says can happen. Oh my goodness. My I gotta hook up my computer. It just said it's running out.
Oh.
Oh,
I'm like, what's wrong? What's going on, Pam?
no, my screen just came on and said I have so many seconds to plug in.
Low battery.
There we go.
Well, that's
Yay!
okay. That's okay because we only have so many seconds left for this episode. So
Yeah.
we do.
Well, I just love doing I love doing it. I just love it. I can't even express in words what I feel when I'm doing what I do. And also, I want to express my gratitude, sincere gratitude to you guys, because without you guys, as I don't know anyone else knows, but you two know, I all the people I do is through referrals. And you two have been my biggest support system. And I love you both. And I so support what you guys do. I mean, it works all three ways. And you, I just love you guys from the bottom of my heart. And thank you.
Oh.
Oh, we love you too.
Absolutely. I really get excited about, just sharing this information with so many people because of what it has done for me personally as well, to see that little roadmap of what energy to look at in the universe. And it's such a blessing. And I just hope and pray that everyone looks in that for themselves to see their own roadmap of whether it's yearly, whether it's every 52 days. And it is interesting that I'm going to just show a quick little glimpse of what the readings look like, because you email me these and they're the charts, and then I'm not going to show you who's on my chart, but there's all these notes and week to week of what's happening. And then before we go to our next reading, I always look back going, oh my goodness, this happened exactly what you were going to say. And then this happened exactly what you had shared with me about the energy. And then this happened. And I have a whole list of things that are just in validation of what has happened. So it's just such a blessing to have this tool for humanity, and have this tool to assist people in their journey of life. So thank you.
Well, thank you.
Yeah,
And
and
you're welcome.
not even Pip, you are just absolutely lovely to even talk with, or like your laugh and your personality. Like, I look forward to talking with you, but you put it in layman's terms. it's not confusing. It's not like sometimes when you get astrology done and they're like, well, this node is, 90 degrees to the
Right.
1/10 fraction of this. And you're like, I don't know what that means. You're like, Brooke, this is what's happening. This is what's, and it's like, it's so nice because I understand it. I understand what you're saying. Like, not this past time because I had a headache, but my reading, prior, my 7 weeks prior, Pip, you said stuff that I hadn't even said out loud barely. And I'm like, how did you know that? It's like it's in the cards. And I'm like, holy shit, what is happening right now? When you mentioned something, I'm like, okay. I was like, you want to know something weird? I'm
Yours
like,
is cut. I'm doing you this weekend, aren't I?
I think it's the next. I think it's the maybe, yeah. I don't
I
know.
can't because I'm leaving.
It's
I'm
not this Sunday. It's not. I think it's the following Sunday, maybe.
maybe.
Yeah, I'll look. I do have it written down.
I know it's a Sunday and it's before the 18th.
Yes, yes, it is. But I like it because it's like you just understand it. So like anybody wanting to get a reading, sometimes astrology readings are confusing or like I have no clue what they're saying. I'm trying to keep up, but I can't because it's like a foreign language to me. But with how Pip describes it and goes into it and gives, more than one option of this could be this or this could be this, and this is what's going to be happening, right? It's just so nice and it's like exciting. And then you make it fun. Pip, you put your personality behind it and it makes it fun. And like you want to listen to what you have to say. I think it's just great. I think you're
Well,
absolutely
Mona will tell you I don't do anything I don't want to do.
Oh no, she doesn't. It's just very, very, very straight up. There's no guessing games with Pip. She'll tell you exactly like it is and will not sugarcoat anything. So whether it is someone that she knows really well or someone that she meets for the first time, you know that you're going to hear exactly, what's happening here. So it's wonderful. And I do love that you send the charts ahead of time or you email those so that I print those out and then I can write notes about what's happening because there is a lot of information
it's fun.
yeah, it is. It's a lot of information for this lovely roadmap.
Yeah, because your phone readings are usually about an hour for the 7 weeks. And then the yearly is usually more like an hour and a half. Is that correct, Pip?
Yes.
Okay. So you're on the phone with her for a while, and I know it takes a lot of time and energy to prepare for each reading, and we appreciate you so much.
Takes time, but it doesn't take that much energy.
That's
Because
good.
like I said, I love doing it.
Because you love
Yeah.
it. Because you love
Yes,
it.
that's
Yes.
good. That's very good.
Yes. So
Yeah,
Pip,
it is.
we gotta tell our listeners where in the world can they find you? How can they find you, get in touch with you when they want to get a scheduled reading with you?
Well, I don't have websites, but like I said, I do it through referral, but you can email me. And my email address is all lowercase DELPHIE, Delphi 49 at gmail.com. So Delphi 49 at gmail.com. And then my phone number. Do I want to give my phone number out?
You don't have to. We can always,
Yes, if you
we can just email
if
you.
yes, or if you know these two lovely young ladies, they can give you my phone number. But if you email me, obviously I will give you my phone number.
Awesome, awesome. Yeah, just get in touch with us through the podcast, through Beautiful Mind, through Medium Brooke Ann, and we will get you in touch with Pip and send you her personal information so you can schedule her time with yours.
Thank you
Can't wait
so
to
much.
hear from you.
Thank you so much for being here today, Pip. We loved interviewing you.
Thank you for inviting me. I loved it. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank
We hope
you.
everybody has a beautiful day and we will see you next week. And namaste.
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 Bye.